I put it like this: grandchildren is God's way of restoring your joy when life has gotten overwhelming. You guys don't have grandchildren, huh?
I like that.
I'm not of age.
When it happens, when it happens, you guys gonna be like,
yeah, but grandma's changed. My mom changed. I'm like, you're not the same mom. you the soft mom. Like grandma,
right?
They get a little soft now. You know what I mean? Let me do
changes.
that.
Nah.
We can't explain it. You have to experience it for yourself.
Okay.
You really do. It's like trying to tell somebody, what it feels like giving birth. But
I don't want to know that at all.
Yeah, I mean, for me it was very painful. I know you didn't want to know, but the joy of it after the fact. Yeah.
Hey, welcome to KROSS BARZ, the podcast where we discuss interesting topics with alternative perspective. I'm your co-host, Big O, and I have with me.
Hey, you got Tanae in the building, back one more time with KROSS BARZ with our guest. It's gonna be Miss Chinnita Morris, aka Chocolate. Give it up for Miss.
Okay, so as a young person in high school as well as college, I actually saw you. You were the bright rising star. You were one of the ones I looked at on Def Comedy Jam when he used to come on HBO with the DJ Kid Capri. All right, right. We don't want to date ourselves too much, right? And then Comic View. She had the suit on right there, letting you know.
Yeah.
Right. And then she had the shortcut, because everybody was Holly Berry back there, right? You know what I mean? So she had the shortcut, and she was letting them know. And anybody who watched TV or was into comedy knew that. It was like, okay, she's it. You could tell who's coming. You'd be like, oh, she's next. And you were one of the ones that I saw that I was like, oh, she got it. And I was kind of perplexed because, especially in our culture, it seems like it's only one at a time. To get through the door, they'll say, all right, we're gonna let her in, and the rest of y'all gotta wait. All right, and she, okay, we can let one more in. Wait a minute. Nah, and rest of you wait. And I was looking at it in this aspect of, because it was two other ladies that I was like, yo, they are it. And I said, wow, let's see how this is gonna play out, because I know they only let really one in, so let's see how it's gonna work. And I saw the comic Samore. She's from New Jersey. I'm originally from New Jersey. The other comic was Adele Gibbons. So it was like you three was like kind of like, to me, in my opinion, that was my, I like. Now there were other ones that was there, and I'm not going to disrespect or try to cast any aspersions, but you three were the ones I liked, because it was like, you guys could walk into like my neighborhood and crack with the best of them and be like, yeah, I could be on any one of y'all niggas' blocks. And I could go with anybody. Some of them I'm like, I don't think y'all can come in our neighborhood.
Right.
So, and then it was like a hiatus, and there was no internet where we could just say, well, I got to find out what she's doing.
Right. Yeah.
It was just like, she ain't on TV no more. And it's like, well, she ain't on here no more. Where's she going?
Right.
And now this is my introduction and question to you. Like, you were on television, you were there, and then you went somewhere. And then we're going to go backwards, because I think that was the big question that I believe everyone had at one point.
Where did I go?
Where did you go? What happened?
Wow. And it's funny because you're on point. Adele was like Miss Def Comedy Jam. They were really pushing her. And some more, she had a talent that, regardless of who you pushing, she had a talent you just couldn't deny. She was going to get there regardless. Right. For me, my star was rising much faster than I expected. I was living the life, having a great time. And then came God and was like, okay, yeah, listen, hold on. Like, yeah, listen, I have another assignment for you. So,
wow.
it's like, make a choice. And it was just a revelation that I got, you know, that changed my life. And I chose God, and just, I actually was going to quit doing comedy, period, because I didn't know anything about Christian comedy. And I knew I couldn't do what I was previously doing and still serve the Lord. I was not going to be a hypocrite. And then I found out about Christian comedy. And no, it didn't change overnight. And, you know, it wasn't an easy transition, but my mind was made up. My heart was committed to Christ. And I walked away.
Okay. Enough, you know. So was it like you was at a party in Hollywood, you walked in the wrong door, and you said, you know what, God is putting something on my heart because I don't want to be involved with that circus that I just saw. It wasn't nothing real crazy, right?
No, it was none of that. I was at a great place in my career. And like I said, things happen very fast. For some of us, Adele and some more being those, you know, two people that was one of those people. But praise God, my career was going great. You know, I wasn't going through anything that caused me to make that choice. Everything was great. It was just that I got a revelation from God that I wasn't saved when I thought that I was. So, you know, I was living my life the way I wanted to live it. I always had a reverence for God, always had a love for God, but I didn't realize that I was living in error. And once I realized that, you know, my life had to change. I just don't believe that you get revelation and sit on it or do what you want to do with it. Either you're gonna make a choice. The Bible tells us, you know, choose ye this day whom you're gonna serve. And I chose God. And I knew that it would cost me something. I knew that I couldn't live for God and think that things were going to continue to go the way that they were going. I knew that it would cost me something. I can't say that I was prepared for the bumpy road ahead, but, you know, God got me through it and is getting me through it. And I have never regretted my decision.
Awesome.
Yeah, I know. Can I say something? Because I know that the church, I grew up, church girl and all that, and they're in a way judgmental about a lot of different things. So how are they accepted to even comedy, sometimes poetry, depending on what you're saying or spoken word? Like, did they accept it in the beginning, or did they not accept the Christian comedy that you were bringing?
Sweetheart, they had Christian comedians. You had people like Broderick Rice, who was one of the people that talked to me. Jonathan Slocum, who I actually came up in the game with, but he was just a clean comic. And he was doing a lot of churches already. So I didn't know about that part of comedy. But Judgment, honey, listen, they knew Chocolate from Def Comedy Jam. She wasn't coming up in their church.
Right. Wow.
And so it took a while before I was accepted.
Yeah, that's wow. That's crazy. I mean, it happens. I know. I've felt it a little bit, but that's why you got to live your own life and stay in your lane and still keep your faith and all that. So, yeah, I'm sure that's pretty difficult.
Okay.
Yeah, had I not been totally committed and made my mind up, I could have very easily walked away and went back because they did not embrace me in the beginning. And few churches would. Now they're different when it comes to men, because when MC Hammer came out, when Mace came out, they practically threw them a collar and made them pastors and preachers and stuff. But when the women come out, it's like, no, don't have those Jezebels up in our,
I was about to say that.
So so we had to fight different, and so praise God, I had a lot of money saved up that helped me get through the times when I wasn't working. I still had a lot of contracts that I was obligated to. So I'm doing these shows and they are shouting out, do this joke and do that joke. And I'm like, nah. So I'm bombing everywhere.
Oh, wow.
No. Yeah. So a lot of people had heard of the transition. A lot of people didn't know what to expect. And so, yeah, it was rough. It was rough.
So is it difficult? Like when you say you're bombing, I'm thinking that you already made the adjustment in your craft, and what the material wasn't translating, or was it the crowd was expecting the old you?
Ooh, it was both. The crowd definitely wasn't expecting this person. They would yell out jokes that they came to hear me do. Mm-hmm. And I'm like, yeah, nah, I don't talk like that no more, you know?
Right.
And then for me, like I said, I didn't even know anything about doing Christian comedy. And so here I am, I'm on the stage, I'm still obligated to do these shows. And I'm up here trying not to say something crazy.
Gotcha.
You know, so the thing is, it's like, you get a comedian who normally cusses a lot and does what he wants to do, and he comes to do a church, he's got to fight not to say certain things and build his show around not saying crazy stuff so he don't get snatched off stage. Well, you know, I had to force myself not to say certain things that I was conditioned to say. I was, used to saying.
Okay. And that's definitely fair enough. So now brings me to the beginning. I read that you're from Gastonia, North Carolina.
I am from Gastonia, North Carolina.
You from the gas house?
What you know about the gas house?
Shoot, I had some business down there. Listen, I live in Charlotte, you know what I mean? Okay. Queen City. So, sister city, all that, I had a lot of friends and went to college down in North Carolina. And I'm going to just tell you right now, the friends I had from the gas house were a little different.
We roll a little different. Gas house is like, gas house.
What is the gas house? What is that? Is that
what's called gas? The name of the city is Gastonia. Oh, yeah. Right. So they just call it gas house. Not because we have a lot of gas.
I thought it was a bar. I was like, the gas house, it must have been popping, right? No, I don't know.
Right. It must have been on fire.
It's like the big claim to fame, it seemed like when I first got there was James Worthy.
Yeah, James Worthy,
Sleepy Floyd basketball. So you had some great athletes, and I played with some of them at North Carolina A&T Aggie Prime. All right, so So the caveat to that part was, all right, y'all got some hella fire athletes. What's going on? And then I went down and I said, oh, this is the hood. This is the hood. Oh, okay. Yeah.
Well, most of us grew up at Irwin Center.
Got you.
Or Phillips Center. Now, one thing they had in Gastonia was youth centers. And so to keep the kids out of trouble, these were our places to go to do recreation. So most people from Gastonia, they know how to swim, they know how to play basketball, they know how to play pool, tennis, because we had nice recreation centers.
Absolutely. And they still have them today. And that was actually one place I kind of sat, one of them, I believe the Irwin Center. And I was over there. Yeah, I was sitting over there. Yeah, sitting over there. I'm up here going to the library part. And they're like, it's only closed. I was like, no, I didn't know the center closed. I was like, no, the library closes. But you can go over there and shoot some hoops. And they got people over there and shoot, right? I was like, oh, okay, this is a real business. So it was like the community center in my way. It's like, you sit there until you figure it out. And then you leave.
The youth center is historical. It is where my mother grew up, her sisters grew up, me and my sisters grew up. And I mean, it's a place that, Gastonia is a really small city, and you didn't want to get kicked out of the youth center, and so you had to have some discipline. You had to act right and be right, and so it was family. We all grew up together,
Absolutely.
So yeah, I don't know how to play basketball, but I do know how to dribble and I do know how to shoot. But that just comes from being at the youth center. But I don't know how to play. I'm not athletic at all.
Those are the fundamentals.
No,
yeah.
No, let's not do that. You was going there being cute. I know better. All right, you was in there talking about all the boy. Michael and them is there. You was just walking there, just did we standing over here? They playing basketball. You gonna wear your little shorts and everything?
He's crazy.
No.
He's crazy. See?
No.
Check him.
Oh no, that was just in other places.
That wasn't me.
Okay, I got you. So
I was a different type of tomboy. I was a tomboy, but I didn't know how to play sports at all. I danced. I was a pop locker and all of that. Yeah, I was a dancer. So yeah.
Man, listen. For every little boy that had that chocolate sister there, they look at it like, because in the South, they like a lot of people are color struck and they see the light skin bitch like, she light skin, she got long hair and all that. But then it was some gentleman like, see that chocolate one? Yeah, I'm really into the yeah. So they ain't try. I already know better.
You're saying about the color struck. I have a question about that. Even in comedy, is there a difference between your darker comedians and lighter comedians? Like, does it translate into that arena too? I know it does in entertainment, period. You know what I mean? But did you experience that, being a, female comedian?
We probably did, if there is a difference, and I'm probably gonna get in trouble for saying this, but it's probably that the darker comedians are funnier.
Yeah.
Like me, some more Bernie Mac. Yeah.
Right.
Eddie Griffin.
We went through some stuff. We always had to defend ourselves, so we were sharp. Right. The darker comedians, and I think if you did a poll, they're funnier, and I think it's just, I wouldn't say it's because of our complexion, but in comedy, that's one thing that colorism don't really, I won't say it doesn't play a part, period, but if it does, it's a very small percentage, because one thing about comedy, people don't care how you look if you ain't funny.
Facts.
Yeah, right. That's
talent is going to speak for itself. Bars. Absolutely. Yeah. So now you make this transition from Gastonia, North Carolina, because growing up, I always thought you was from Atlanta. I think they introduced you chocolate from Atlanta, Georgia. Yeah. And then when I read, I said, hold up, I know she ain't denying the gas house, because they'll cut you around there. Like they not playing no games. They'll cut you down there.
So you're not from here no more?
Oh yeah, facts.
I think they might have said by way of Gastonia.
Okay.
Some people might have missed it, but I've lived in Atlanta longer than I've lived anywhere. I was in Atlanta for almost 30 years. I just recently relocated back to North Carolina, but in Raleigh, the Raleigh area.
Oh my God.
Hey, I have family in Raleigh.
Oh, I'm sitting here looking like, when Charlotte booming the way it's booming, and you going.
Charlotte is too close to Gastonia. I'm from Gastonia. Charlotte is where we went to have fun. What I'm gonna go back to Charlotte for?
Have fun.
I hear that.
Yeah, say it again. Have fun. Yeah.
Might as well stay in Atlanta.
Right. So in Raleigh, is that where I noticed that you start doing like real estate. So are you doing real estate congratulations on that in Raleigh?
Thank you, girl. You did your research. Praise God.
I did. My aunt lives in Raleigh and she's also into real estate. You know what I mean? And so when I saw it, it just made the connection. And so
this
so you're back
this is a hot market for it. I came up here during the pandemic. I say, hey, let's pivot. Let's do something else. I've been doing comedy 30 years now. And I actually thought that I was just going to put comedy on the back burner and just kind of like do it whenever. But truthfully, until the wheels get rolling with this real estate, comedy is still, paying some bills and stuff. So, but with the pandemic, of course we got shut down. And so now I just look at it as streams of income.
Got you.
That's right.
That's awesome. So
Yeah.
now my question becomes, okay, I understand the real estate because number one, I wish I had the talent to stand on stage and deliver my thoughts in a comedic way. Like I could joke and laugh, but I respect the craft. I could never, like, I don't have the talent. There's, some people think I'm funny. I can get on stage. You better not do that. I've been to some amateur nights. Like,
Right.
that ain't it. this ain't the living room. We ain't related to you.
Right.
So you go right into speaking to people and then selling them a product. And before you were selling yourself, your style, or what have you. But my thought process was like writing would be it because you have to write your own stuff. So I would think you would just go right into writing, writing for a show, writing for this, skits, things like that, jingles, anything.
She did.
Well, the thing is, I write for myself.
Gotcha.
I don't know. I'm just not, I have to say that I'm not that gung-ho about the industry.
Gotcha.
I'm just not that person that pushes my way to those types of tables. I love what I do. I love my gift of comedy. I love being a blessing to people and bringing joy. But at the same time, I actually love being a regular person.
Okay. And I can respect that. And right now, that's awesome. Now, I have another question that was like burning up because I did some research. I think Tanae kind of held out on some stuff. Disrespected me. She disrespected me.
Okay.
I promise. She mad.
She didn't pass the book off, and I'm sitting there looking like, yo, you got it? She's like, yeah.
Right.
I got the book and I read the book.
Yeah.
You got the book. Look at y'all.
Yes,
y'all did your research.
Yeah, but she's supposed to pass it off and let me know because she was like, no, I got it before the other interview. You had to push it back. And I was sitting there like, so why you ain't let me know? I didn't even know that.
But did you read the book? She's saying she read it. Did you read it?
I didn't know you had one.
Okay, so then you don't get to ask the question. So sis, what you got?
All right. Thank you very much. Thank you very much, Miss Chocolate. We got woman power going on here. All right. No, I did. I got the book, Gracefully Broken, Wonderfully Restored, Overcoming Spiritual Seduction. Love this book. I was, of course, didn't expect to get what I read in the book.
Right. Yes, most people don't.
And they did, but even through what you talked about in the book, it's real. It's a real thing. You have to be careful along the lines when you entertain certain things. You know what I mean? How it can change your life. So I know in writing the book, what made you give the final, okay, I'm gonna do this? Like, because it's a lot in here, especially when you're in church, you're in ministry. You know what I mean? It takes some boldness and it takes some courage to do it and stand on it and still live your life for God. So question, what made you say, okay, I'm gonna write it finally?
Okay, well, let me just say this first because I think that you just want to be, you're trying to be nice. And I appreciate that. But what happens is, first of all, let me ask you this.
Yes, ma'am.
What did you think about my writing skills?
No, I thought it was good, actually.
Okay.
It really, it was a good read. Like, it would flow. Like, I was like 4 or 5 chapters in. Like, I didn't want to stop. Like, I wanted to read the next one, the next page, so I can, get to it. I was like, okay. It was the kind of book, like, if you're reading on the toilet, your feet go to sleep. It was like one of them. You get the legs getting a little numb. You've been sitting too long. And I was just like, just one more.
So I take it you read the first 5 chapters on the toilet.
I read the first 3 for a fact on the toilet. Yeah. I kid you. But the book's still clean, though. The book's still clean.
Okay. Well, praise God. Well,
it was a good read. It was a good read.
Well, let me say this without giving away too much, because I do like people to be surprised when they do read the book. So my thing is this, when and you touched the question that you were asking was, how was it received or whatever, or what made me give myself the okay to write the book. And I still have friends who feel like, I don't know if I would have told that. Well, truthfully, when I was going through it, as you read in the book, it was the darkest time I've ever experienced in my life. And trust me, I have experienced some dark times, but this was different. This was completely different. It wasn't anything that I expected. I did not see it coming. I did not know the enemy, the devil could do things like this. And so I got a real eye opener. And so when I was going through it, I said, okay, so if this is happening to me, how many other people has this happened to who are afraid or embarrassed to say what they're going through or don't know what they're going through and just wind up stuck there because they were too scared to talk about it or go to somebody about it. And that was what made me say, this is embarrassing. People are going to look at you sideways. You're going to lose some relationships, but this has to be talked about. One of the things that made me angry when I was going through it was, why isn't this being discussed from the pulpit? Why weren't we taught about these things? That way we would better know how to deal with it when it comes. Right. And so, no, but I think it's I think it kind of spooks people, or, pastors are so, they don't want to offend anybody. And so they just don't talk about the hard issues. And this was one that I said, you know what, come what may, there's somebody out there, and if it's not but just one person, there is somebody out there who needs to know that this is going on, and this is what they were trapped in. And this is how you get out. And since the release of the book, I was really writing it to make sure that people who may have gone through the same thing come to realize what this was. I didn't realize that when I wrote the book, it was more for me than it was for the other people. I didn't realize that it was going to bless me just as much as it blesses and I've gotten testimonies in my inbox and, calls and whatnot that people, and I'm really shocked. Well, a part of me is shocked, but I knew that if this happened to me just out of the blue, nothing I asked for, nothing I was curious about or anything like this, who else is going through this?
Right.
So that's why I say, no, this has to be written.
Yeah, and part of it in the book that I really was intrigued about is that even you said it in there when you were talking to, you had your accountability partners, that you were going to, there was a pastor, there was another lady you were going to, and you were talking to them, and you thought that they were going to shun you and say, no, you shouldn't be doing this, and they didn't. And you said that, like, I can't believe there's some grace. I can't believe they're not yelling at me. I can't believe they're not, but they help guide you, through the process. Even when you continued to mess up, they still did that, And so the part at the end of the book where you were talking about the accountability partner, that to me was a lot of jewels in that, because that could be accountability for anything.
For anything.
It could be weight loss, it could be eating, it could be saving money, it could be whatever. And the first one that said is, if you're not ready to do it, don't do it.
If you're because my friend, like I said, I lost that friend. And maybe I expected her to have a level of maturity that I didn't realize, she just wasn't there. And it's no shade to her, but we're all growing. It's all a process for all of us. And these two people, these were God. I knew that God placed them in my life for this situation that was going to happen a few years later. And the way that they handled it, my mind was blown, because I wanted to be rebuked. I was one of those people who condemned myself for the least little thing. I walked in condemnation. And when I went through this situation, one of the things that Minister Claudia said to me, she said Claudia in the book, but that's, that's not her real name. But Minister Claudia said to me was, you can't carry this. no, you don't do, that's not how we do this. You're gonna have to let that go,
Right.
and because I mean, for years I went around, couldn't talk about it without crying, without breaking down and crying. I had to forgive myself. And but the way that they handled it, they were just two very godly people who knew how to love like Christ loved. And the way that they handled me taught me how I was supposed to handle other people when they fell short. And I wasn't doing that. And so with the grace that was shown towards me, and it brings tears to my eyes because I was judgmental and I was self-righteous. I was living this life trying to be the best Christian I could be, but I wasn't giving grace to other people when they didn't measure up. Right. And that taught me, sweetheart, that's what he went to the cross for. We don't abuse the grace. Well, it's there for you when you need it, And so now I'm really, I do my diligence to be loving and kind to people when they fall short and help them get up, because I've been there, when I was on a mountaintop, and before I know it, I'm sliding down this mountaintop at the speed of light because, I'm living in sin and I'm fighting my way out because I don't want to be here. And I don't know how and I didn't understand. I was kind of angry with God. I was like, why would you allow this to happen? What did I do? And, but all things work together for your good. I'm a better Christian. I would have never thought that I would say this, but I'm a better Christian for having gone through what I went through.
Like you use it as
pressure makes the best diamonds. Pressure makes the best diamonds.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
So that's the
absolutely
question.
Yes, go ahead.
Go ahead. Little bit. Small fry, a little bit. She came out around the same time, and she was from Atlanta area, and she made the transition into Christian comedy. Were you of influence to her? Because it was kind of like, to me, I was like, wait a minute, what's going on here? Because two of the homegirls from Atlanta just kind of went,
You know what? That's just how God works, because she didn't have a clue I was getting saved. I didn't have a clue she was getting saved.
Got you. Okay, but y'all knew of each other, correct? Because y'all were.
We worked together. Yeah.
We
came up in the same comedy club. Yeah, we were good friends, but we became better friends and sisters after we both realized, because now we're working in some of the same circles. Okay. We're working a lot in the same circles.
She's small fry down, though. I think she's small fry down. She's not little.
Small fire. She's small fire.
Small fire.
Okay.
Small fire. Excuse me on that one. Small fire. Yes.
Yeah. Yes. Like the burning bush, Moses, the small fire. Yeah, Holy Ghost fire. Yeah, so that's why she changed it. Yeah.
Okay.
So now my question becomes, during that time period, like me and Tanae was talking in pre-production, and I was telling her, like, during that time, I think, Kirk Franklin was very instrumental in not going over to mainstream, really trying to bring mainstream over to the Christian side. Because when I was growing up in the 80s, 90s, well, mostly 80s when I was a kid, and it was like, I remember when Tremaine Hawkins and the Clark sisters, they were the premiere of the gospel. And when they wanted to do more, what they call secular music, it was all almost shunned upon. So it was almost like, if you go to the secular music, you can't come back to gospel almost. And then we saw an evolution where, you had Take Six, and then Brian McKnight kind of left them and became a superstar, as well as the Winings. They just went more mainstream versus just straight gospel. And then Kirk Franklin said, okay, I'm still do gospel, but I'm going to take you little rappers and I'm going to take your stuff and put it in gospel, and I'm going to bring more of you guys over here. So it was like more or less a relationship, because before it was like a distinct line. Because I remember being young and being in the gospel, and the pastor saying, y'all ain't singing that type of music here. It's like, hold up,
right?
Gospel music. And it's like, So like, I call Alicia Myers' song, I Want to Thank You, the greatest gospel song of all time. But most people say, no, it's a club song. I'll be like, listen to them lyrics. I want to thank you.
Yeah, the house song.
Yeah.
I'm saying like, yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
So now if you listen to it, you be like, that's a gospel song. But some
Well, she
people
gave God glory. I don't know if it's gospel, but she definitely gave God glory.
Isn't that gospel?
Yeah.
Like, I don't know, but maybe I got a different interpretation. Like, okay. But
I didn't know that was her name, though. I didn't know who wrote the song or who song
Alicia
it
Myers.
was. But every time I hear it, yes.
Yeah, you know the song. You be like, oh my God, that's my jam.
Yeah.
Like, but now, you know, Kirk Franklin during the 90s and 2000s kind of said, all right, let me do this. And I see more of there's a transition where you don't have to leave, you can change your lifestyle, but still have fun. So it was almost like you go to church, you're gonna die. It's not no fun no more. You know, like no more fun. You know, you're gonna worship, you're gonna wear these ugly clothes, and you better have a dress to your knees.
Some churches is still that way. I mean, it all depends on the denomination.
Correct.
Yeah.
And there's some things, and I don't want to speak. Now to see, you're gonna start trouble. I ain't speaking on nobody church. I ain't casting no aspersions on no one.
Yeah, it depends on the denomination.
Anyone. Correct.
Yeah.
But what I see now, I start seeing like, all right, listen, you can still have a little some of this, but I'm sitting here like, yo, some of these old school, they not feeling it, but at the same time, they're reaching more of the demographic that they tend to speak about that may need that guidance. So now it's like, hey fam, what you gonna do? You gonna reach them? Because you know the stuff you doing was never reaching them. Now you got this new way of doing things that's reaching them and bring them in, and they're having these new ideas. However, you're having a lot of issues in these churches because of these new ideas. So that's why I'm asking you, like, okay, where do you see the evolution of, and I want to only speak because us three, we're African American, where do you see the evolution of the Black church?
Holy Spirit, help me to answer this according to your will. I will say this, just like the word of God says, a little leaven leavens the whole lump. I don't want to be judgmental. I love to dance, so I love gospel music that makes me dance. And there's plenty of it out there. And I personally don't think you have to go get a Snoop Dogg or a Missy Elliott to sing on your song, unless you're just doing it for the numbers, because there are a lot of gospel rappers out there who need that platform, who have said yes to God and who have dedicated their gifts to God. So my question is, what is your real reason for using certain artists or whatever? Not that, you know, it's a bad thing, but it does become a bad thing when you use that artist and then that artist goes right back to doing what they do and doing it even worse. And so when you use these artists, you're giving them a platform in the church, and now our children are subjected to this. And so now our children want to know, who is this Snoop Dogg? Who is this Missy Elliott? Who is this Nicki Minaj? And so now they like this music too. When they could have been listening to The Truth or
Chance the Rapper.
Yeah, Chance the Rapper.
Yeah.
Who is Chance the Rapper?
Oh, okay. He wears the number 3 on his stuff, and is symbolized the Trinity. And he's probably one of the more famous or contemporary rap artists that.
Okay, but not rap. Gospel artists.
No. Rap artist who claims he's a Christian rapper. Okay.
Or like a Lecrae or somebody like that, which he gets a lot of heat too, so I don't know. But the thing of it is, it's just like, I love me some Kirk Franklin. I don't agree with all of his music, and some of it ain't got nothing to do with the fact that there's a secular rapper in it. His song, "I Don't Want to Love Nobody But You," that ain't biblical. You can't even love God if you can't love everybody else.
True, but if he's saying I don't want to love nobody but God, I don't know. Well, you know,
that's
I'm not
biblical. God
right.
tells us to love our neighbors. The first two commandments. Love God with everything you have, and then love your neighbors. So to me, I'm like, okay, the beat is the bomb. Gotcha. But this ain't biblical. so excuse me for being, you know, I'm still working on this judgment thing, but my thing is it's not judgment, but it's just calling a spade, you know. We have to, the Bible says to try the spirit, whether it be of God. Just because it's Kirk Franklin, Kirk gonna miss the mark too, because he's human just like we are. Correct. But when we just deliberately go out here and collaborate with people that raises an eyebrow or, you know, causes people to stumble, we have to be mindful of that. Now, when Tasha Cobb did the song with Nicki Minaj, I was heated. Yeah. I was heated. I had the CD and wouldn't listen to it. And one day I was feeling so low. And I felt in my spirit, go listen to this CD. Mm-hmm. I'm getting ready. So I don't know. I don't have the answers. What I do know is whether we're right or wrong, all things are going to work together for our good. Gotcha. I have a niece who is crazy about Nicki Minaj. And I remember one day, it was her birthday. Mm-hmm. And I sent the song over to her. And she's like, "Oh, Auntie, this is my song." So, you know, God is going to use it. He'll find a way, you know, all things work together for our good. But we just got to make sure, we just got to do better in lining up with what God would have us to do and not allow the industry to run us.
I agree, but I wasn't even going on that. I saw something totally different. I didn't really want to call out anyone's name per se, but this one rapper.
Sorry.
Yeah, no.
It is what it is. Cool. I mean, it's already out there. Everybody knows about it. You just gotta be careful.
Yeah. So for me,
I'm being honest, I was heated.
We want honesty. That's what KROSS BARZ is. Right.
Correct. So now for me, it was like Mr. West and having a traveling church / choir.
Oh, Kanye West and his thing. Right.
And that was something that I was like, okay, I know I'm no longer in the church. This is my own preference, but yo, that looks something totally different. Well, and that's why I'm not the person to judge, but at the same time, I was like, that's not what I remember.
And it's not necessarily judging. It's like I said, it's calling a spade a spade. Judging is when you condemn somebody to hell or even heaven, you know, for their actions when you're not God. That's not your place. Right. But to be even quite honest, I did not agree with that. I thought, okay, the devil is, and I still can't say I agree with it, but I will say this. One day, my brother-in-law and my sister had come up and they were visiting with me, and, you know, he's a very secular person. Well, he wanted to put on the Kanye West. He was like, just look at it, just watch it. Mm-hmm. And so, you know, I'm trying not to be so stiff-necked. I let him put put it on the YouTube. And shockingly, it blessed my spirit. The singing was immaculate. Now the question is, and only God knows, their hearts. But the presentation was great, and it made me, the way I saw it was, man, we really need to get these choirs back in these churches. Mm-hmm. Yeah. You know, and but you know, other than, you know, I don't know his heart. I don't know. You can tell a tree by the fruit it bears.
Correct.
And so we can't, it's not enough for us to just say we've given our lives to Christ. Our lives must line up with what we say. Otherwise, you're a hypocrite. And one thing Jesus was very vocal about was how much he hated hypocrisy.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, well, that Kanye West, my brother's like that. Like, he don't listen to, like, Tasha Cobb is too much worship for him. Like, he ain't got to that part yet. But he texted me and was like, yo, you seen the Kanye West with the church? So what you think about it? You know what I mean? And so there's certain things that attracted him and the word, you know what I mean, that may not have attracted me, but it pulled in somebody from somewhere. So, you know what I mean? It, for some reason, you know, he's, you know, great, he's not in church, he loves Jesus, you know Jesus and all that. But, you know, he was okay. He was like, what you think about it? I'm like, well, I mean, it is, but he's okay with it. You know what I mean? Whereas I might get with the Tasha Cobb or Kiera Shears. He'd be like, that's too much for me. I ain't got there yet. So it may appeal to some people to bring them to the, you know what I mean? And ultimately, like you said, not being judgmental, but they're going to have to deal with that themselves, you know, whatever it is. But if it saved one person, and if it changed one person's mind someday, you know what I mean? Can you really, it's just hard. It's just you got to be careful with your music, and you say it in your book too about what you listen to, what you put in your ears, what you watch. You know, you got to be careful because they come in like this, and then next thing you know, you be way left, and you be like, "Dang, how I get over here?"
There you go.
You know, just gotta be careful with music, just music. Period.
Exactly, and that's the bottom line, because you know that's the way the enemy works. He's very subtle. You know, people are like, oh, that's great. They did a song with Snoop Dogg. Why is that so great? Did Snoop profess his you know, that he's given his life to the Lord, and you know, has his life begin to line up? And I'm not picking at Snoop. I'm just using him as an example. But my thing is, okay, so because if he hadn't done that, and then even if he does, the Bible admonishes us not to give new converts those types of platforms, because look, you know, these people already have great influence, and if they're not committed to showing a Christ-like life, then we just brought them into our churches and introduced them to our children, which they're going to get this in school anyway. But if the gospel artists are saying this is okay, then it must be okay. So we have to be careful what we say, what we, you know, the Bible tells us to be careful who we yoke ourselves with. And I know if Maddie Moss Clark was alive, she definitely wouldn't be having that, you know. But
she went with, did she throw the shoe? Ain't she the one that threw the shoe?
Yeah. Did you see the movie? Because the movie was fire. I loved the fire. I was like, man, they should have just named this movie Maddie Moss Clark.
Maddie Moss Clark.
I love the movie, yes.
So now let's transition into life, you know, now. And what do you see yourself doing in the next 20 years? Are you saying I'm going to turn into a real estate mogul? Am I going to go into
absolutely?
Okay, all right. So we're gonna go, you know,
real estate mogul.
Yeah, real estate mogul, you know. Where they up there, a couple of my friends, you know, moved to the area, and they were like, yeah, you know, Cary. I made the joke. I said, yeah, you know what they call it, right? Came in area, but relocated Yankees. So if you live up to the tri-state area, you're moving to Cary. Right. Yeah, absolutely. So it's like, yeah, we're gonna, you know, because I know some of those out of towners come to you like, how much the house? Yeah, I got that right here. Like,
right.
Big nice houses out there. But what do you see? Do you see going into maybe acting, or are you going to, you know, do ministry or have your own church? Because I know that's controversial in itself, female pastors, and especially they were speaking about that some years ago in Georgia in particular.
I don't plan on having my own church. I am a minister.
Correct.
And I would love to I have a heart to minister.
Okay.
Not sure where I stand with the female pastor situation. I believe the word of God. So I'm not real sure where I stand with that. I know some phenomenal female pastors. You know, should she be covered by a husband, or should there just not be a female pastor? I don't know. But as far as me, yes, I got in this thing to not be mediocre, but to be exceptional and be phenomenal as a real estate agent. But at the same time, I am gifted to do comedy, and it brings me great joy to bring others great joy. So that ain't going nowhere.
Okay. All right.
Yeah.
That's good. That's good. That's good.
Yeah.
Right.
So yeah, I plan on and I want to minister the book. I really want that platform so I can talk about this thing because it's real. And you know, the enemy made me mad, sis, and I want to help some people get their lives in order and realize, no, this wasn't you. This was the devil, you know. Right. And you know, and God is here for you if you want out, you know, because it is, and it's all types of strongholds, alcohol, drugs, you know, adults,
women,
yeah, everything, yeah. So it's a lot of strongholds people find themselves in that they like, how did I get here?
Absolutely. Now,
right. And you have that in the back of the book too. She does have that in the back of the book, like how to get out, like ways to help you.
Yeah,
the whole little section in the back of the book.
Is, one person told me that I needed to write another chapter. She actually went through the same thing, but it was a different situation. And she said that my book was very triggering for her. She cried almost through the whole book. And she said that there should be another chapter to it because I didn't talk about predators, and that's what the situation was.
Wow. Yeah, we were talking about the yeah.
So
okay.
Yeah,
I got it.
So,
wow.
So it was important for me to put those last couple of chapters in there to teach people what needed to be done. And first and foremost, you have to be honest with yourself and other people. The truth makes you free. You're not going to get free telling lies. And when you lie, you just give the enemy leverage. So,
okay. I want to hear your perspective on a fun topic that I've asked a couple of female comedians about that's hitting the mainstream right now.
Okay.
What do you think about Kevin Samuels?
Oh, maybe not right now. Look, right now, it'll be different. Right? You see what happened right now? You know what happened right now to him right now?
So the whole energy just.
Well, no, you know what's funny? Today was my first time hearing of the dude.
Oh, really?
Oh, wow.
Oh, he's man, he's keeping popcorn companies in business. Goodness gracious, man. It's like watching a movie. Like, what is going on?
He just had a little scandal, though. You know, he just had a little scandal.
I don't know. I'm not speaking on anybody's scandal.
So what was the scandal? Because I went to his YouTube because somebody brought up his name, not his YouTube, but his Instagram. Wow. But truthfully, he wasn't talking about nothing that I was interested in. So I was like, okay, who is this guy?
His scandal is, I guess he was doing a show with the woman, and he was going to different cameras, and one camera didn't switch.
Saw that.
And there was apparently this man laying in the bed behind him in the bed, asleep. So now all these women are like, you were talking about all this or whatever, so how you gonna say? Blah, blah, blah. Yeah, so it was a man, and they got all these people online trying to go back and show where the guy, I mean, he's there. You know what I mean? And it was like his face like changed when he realized that his camera was on the wrong camera. That he turned his camera
around. Okay, right. So today is not the first time I've heard of him. I heard of him last week. We were doing something and this girl's YouTube popped up. I think she's Tanya TKO or something like that. And she did a big thing about it. I didn't know who the guy was.
Yeah, it was
So I didn't know
I
it was a
watched
big
that one.
to-do, but I did see that. I saw that.
Yeah.
Okay,
So
so that's why. Okay. Well, hey man, your sins are gonna find you out, girl. That's listen. You might as well see this. Man,
All right.
listen.
I gotta, that was crazy. When I saw that, I was like, oh, because we did a cross bars with Miss Edwanda White. She did a cross bars with us, and he asked her that question, and I was like, if she goes back and see that, that what happened to him now, yeah, that'd be a different conversation.
But it's
Listen.
just,
But it is what it is.
people have different opinions, but it's always polarizing. Like people are with them, against them, but you're never in the middle. Like no one's like,
Either
you
one
know,
way or the
sometimes
other.
you're like, you know what, I hate that dude, and if I see him on the streets, we fight. Or you know what, I understand him now. Now I have a better relationship with my husband. Like, oh, okay. I
Oh
just
wow.
no lie.
So he's one of those dude who gives women advice.
Yeah.
Well, but this is the catch, because I'm
But he beat
catching
him
up
down
now.
too.
But he actually started speaking to men first. And then when he started speaking to women, that's when he got super popular. So that's what he stuck with.
Because women just feel like we just need a man to tell us what and how to do things. I have a man that tells me what and how to do this thing, and that's God. He ain't gonna lead me astray. He ain't gonna lead me astray. And he don't have no hidden agendas, because you know, it's funny that we think so highly of ourselves that we think we can tell. And especially when we got mess going on behind the scenes, that's when we're least qualified. You can't even be honest with yourself about yourself, but you out here trying to give people advice. And folks are foolish. This is how many denominations.
Keep going. You was about to stop. I heard you about to stop.
True.
No, don't stop. Keep going.
No,
go ahead, keep going.
Because you have people who need so much. Instead of them just really depending on the word of God or going to God, they would rather just listen to some man tell them. Because one of the videos that I was listening to, and I didn't listen to it no more than 2 or 3 minutes, but the young girl that he was talking to, he wasn't very nice, and she was just sitting there letting him talk to her like that, like this man, like his word is God's word. And it's like, sweetheart, why are you allowing this man to talk to you like this? You know, so, but we feel like we need somebody to tell us how to live like that. And he's a mere mortal just like you are. Mm-hmm. The same thing that happened with Derrick Jackson.
Yeah, right. Yeah.
You know, and you still got people following these people. So the thing is, we have so many followers. If I started a new denomination right now, I'm gonna have at least 100 followers.
What will you call it? Like the chocolate droppers of the Latter-day Saints. Like I'm trying to figure out the name. Like I'm trying. Like, as soon as you said it, I was like, oh God! Like oh wow, that's okay.
Holy chocolate.
And saying all that.
The baptizing chocolate. Oh my God. Oh my God.
No, don't get him started.
No.
The chocolate lady you just
had no idea.
Yeah, you see that? I told you. The lady went on vacation with the family. It was a man and a woman. They were standing there and they were dipped in chocolate. I mean, dipped literally the whole body except up to the neck in chocolate. And then,
for what?
Because I was on vacation and that's what they did at the luau. I don't judge. I'm not
at the
judging.
Luau?
Yeah, it's luau. So I wasn't judging.
And you hurt your ankle, right?
I'm trying to let you know what happened.
I mean, did it turn like a hard chocolate where you get to bite it and all of that?
Listen, I wanted to find out, but I looked back. My wife's sister and my 3 daughters was looking at me like, why daddy why he comfortable talking to that lady like that? I was like, because I'm looking at it, I was
that's
like,
crazy.
My wife said,
a waste of chocolate.
Hold up. You should have seen it. But no. I'm not, no. But I'm just saying though, my wife said, nah, that ain't real chocolate. And I was like, all right. So I went up and I'm getting my little desserts and they got my tray. And I was like, is that real chocolate? Just joking with her. She was like, she put her hand, I was like, taste it. And I was like, I just looked back. I just knew everything in my heart said, look back. And I look and they all looking like, And I was like, I don't think that'd be good for me to lick on a lady, you know, right then. The way my account set up, it's not gonna be good. So,
out of order.
Yeah, so I was like, you know, took a little picture real quick, and then I had to walk down steps, and I fell, dropped the plate, twisted my ankle, scuffed up my knee.
Way.
And the
your mind, that was that seducing spirit. It was getting you.
More of the story. one little mix-up can really to make you take a break fall. And I was like, that was what I took from it. Like, yeah, you know, that was God let me know, like, I know what you was thinking. Let me just let you know what time it is. Like, oh, if I'd have taken that, yeah.
As a man thinking,
and I believe in you know, these signs and things like that, but it was just kind of weird seeing somebody dipped in chocolate and then standing there, and then it was just like, oh, here, you can taste, like, and I'm sitting there like, you know what, you lucky I'm married and I'm of a certain age. Because me in my younger days, I didn't have shit. Like I got married.
You married.
You would have did it.
In fact, listen.
He would have
I'm telling y'all right now.
COVID and all, he would have did it. COVID and all.
I got married because I needed a chaperone. I needed adult supervision. I'm just putting that clean out there.
Oh my goodness.
Nobody need me to be me by myself. Like somebody gotta, like I need a permission slip everywhere I go.
That is crazy. I mean?
Like, I can't.
Well, at least you know.
I know.
He's being truthful. He's being truthful.
That's why when
I'm so proud of you, Big O. I'm so proud.
Thank you.
I'm gonna have to give you a hand.
That's why when I see people and they're a little off, you know how you see the people you a little off. I'll be like this. I'll speak the same language. I'm like, yeah, me off too. Like, you know what I'm saying? So we could be crazy together, or we gotta know we can separate. So it was just like, I know I'm a little off. I think a little different. And I've learned that I don't need to say everything I'm thinking, because I know sometimes I'll be like, nah, that ain't, you know what I mean? Like, for instance, I know I'm probably the only one that was thinking like, yo, let me see all the pictures behind her. Oh, that's a nice one right there. Like, I know, but nobody's going to say that. Like, nobody will say that. I'm like, oh, that's a nice one. I like the purple one better.
Oh, my God.
And the black and the white one. You know what I mean?
All right, we're gonna reel him in.
I got it.
Right.
Yeah, absolutely. Right. Okay, so now.
All right, wait a minute.
Okay, go ahead.
What time is it? It's 8:05. Oh, I didn't mean to say time. Oh well,
it is what it is.
Man, we family, man. Okay.
Right.
So I'm just saying today. I just wanted to recognize that today is Juneteenth.
Right.
You know what I mean? It is Juneteenth, and official holiday. You know, as of Thursday. You know what I mean? How do you feel about that? This Juneteenth, as far as, you know, your profession, what you do. What is your thoughts on, you know, this federal holiday that we now have?
I'm grateful for it. I'm not sure how I feel about America right now. I have a lot of, you know, a lot to say about it, and it's not the nicest thing. You know, the holiday is good. I know that they just passed a Asian hate bill. I want to know, how did they get one so quick and we still don't have one, when we've been dealing with this for years,
day one
upon years, and they have 1 year where maybe 5 Asians got killed, and all of a sudden there's an Asian hate bill. So my thing is, the holiday is good, thank you, but let's work on this justice. Let's work on this equality. Let's work on, you know, this systemic racism, you know, this division. Let's make some progress there. Let's work on this reparations. Give us something, because it's for one, the Juneteenth, that's too little, too long, too late. And let's rebuild Black Wall Street in all of the states that they were there.
Correct.
You know, let's tell the truth in the schools about the history. Let's be honest about it. Stop sugarcoating stuff. Tell the whole truth. And you know, let's not just halfway do stuff. If you're gonna do it and stop pacifying us. And for us to stop taking the pacifiers, okay, and really stick together and get some real progress going. Let's stop. Let's make some noise. about getting what is owed to us, you know, and making right what you've done wrong.
Fair
and
enough.
not taking the pacifiers of a holiday.
Yeah, it kind of hurts me.
Right.
Hurts me when I've learned about it and learned about it becoming a holiday, and I got very upset because I'm like, do you see the smoke screen? And I saw it immediately, and I said, do you realize in critical race theory that they're actually in 15 states, they just passed it, where you can't teach slavery and how slavery affected the Black people in this country, you know, in the past. And my thought process is, oh, so you can't? So let's do this. Let's do tit for tat. You did that, gave Juneteenth. All right, don't teach about the Holocaust. That was a European issue.
Right.
How would that go?
Right.
Because we used to say, no, that was European history. That's not American history. That's European history.
Right. Right.
How would that go over?
Exactly.
Right.
And what does it say about you that you don't want the truth about slavery to be told? What does that say about you?
Right.
Right. Yeah.
Correct.
Indeed. And we still have, I think it's still South Dakota that still hasn't decided they want to even accept that deal. I think it's one state. First it was North Dakota, South Dakota, and Hawaii were the last three to accept the federal, and then South Dakota was the last one that was kind of like.
And not Arizona, because you know Arizona always been that state.
Nope, it wasn't Arizona. It was only North Dakota, South Dakota, and Hawaii were the last three. Since this, North Dakota and Hawaii have agreed, and South Dakota is the only state that's still like, I don't know.
Yeah, but I agree with Hawaii, because if you ever been to Hawaii and talk to them people, they don't mess with any American holiday, because they like, they don't really go there.
Right.
They love you. I promise you, I loved how they was giving it up. They was like, man, I ain't on a holiday.
Yeah,
Y'all Black, come on in. I was like, hey, I love Hawaiians. What? They was with the nonsense. They was like, man, we don't mess with none of them American holidays, because they came in. They like that. For real. And that's why I really respect it. They be like, that's their holiday. That ain't ours. You know, we still try to speak our own language. And they were really caught some flack over that, and they made them Americans, like forced. So the history of Hawaii is a little different in itself, and I think a little bit of light needs to be shed, but that's like state history and people who are Hawaiian and even Samoan for that matter. But Samoa is a little bit more, they're more intact together, but Hawaiian because it was more popular. But that's a whole nother discussion. I apologize, because I'm starting to
Thank you for the history lesson.
Look, Big O is a teacher, so you're always going to get a lesson. He's a teacher, you and that. So I do want to.
So he can't help it.
No. We just want to start wrapping up a few more things before we get off of this Cross Bars edition. I know you just had a birthday, so happy belated birthday.
Thank you.
You're a Gemini? Gemini? Oh, my sister's Gemini. So you're the nicest person. I'm thankful that I met the nice one. All right. I never want to meet the mean one. All right. I'm just putting it out there.
You actually don't.
Yeah, I don't want no part of that. I want no part of it.
And you know what? I'm not into horoscopes and all of that, but I think, the astrology thing is real. And I know that, there's two different sides to me, but truthfully, because some Geminis are, sweet crazy and mean or whatever. But when the Holy Spirit has tamed me. But there is a twin, because off stage, I'm totally different than I am on stage.
Awesome.
And that, and there's a very, and just even in my personal life, there's a very silly side and there's a very serious side. Most comedians thought I was too serious. Like if I wasn't on stage, I was way too serious for them. Most comedians, when you out and about, they like to be seen. You're in the airport, you going through, they want everybody to know that they're famous. I'm not like that. I'm reserved. Don't bother me. Let me get on this plane, go do what I do and get home. And so, yeah, you know, there's an alter ego, and then there's Chinnita.
Okay. All right. So I'm just letting you know. Don't want no problems with whatever that's over there.
But you definitely don't want to meet.
Yeah, I don't. Oh, you got a name for?
No.
No. Tell us the name. Yeah. You got a name for it. Yeah, you do.
No, I don't.
Oh, okay.
I'm actually, and I think this is with anybody. I'm a very nice person until you really, and you know, like I said, the Holy Spirit has tamed me. And sometimes I think too much, because sometimes I feel like I'm a punk. Sometimes I feel like I'm a straight punk. Like, God, you know this ain't me. This ain't right now. I need to be able to snap on that, you know.
Tell me the name. Yeah, she going. Yeah. I know she about to say. You're like, yeah, her name.
Chocolate and chip.
No. It's like Jessica. You don't want to meet Jessica. Like, no, I just want Chinnita.
Jessica's a nice name.
No. It could be crazy. It could be crazy. You know, every time I think of Jessica, I think of a redhead. You're like,
oh no,
yeah, you don't want to meet Jessica. Like, I want Chinnita.
You're thinking of Jessica Rabbit. That's
no.
No, every Jessica I know is too nice. Every Jessica, every Jennifer.
The nice ones are the ones you got to worry about.
Yeah, you right.
Fact.
See, them Chinnita's got you. Y'all don't be knowing. Y'all think Chinnita, you know, be like, oh, I know she can fight.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. Oh, absolutely. Yeah.
And I can.
Now watch this. If we had a team, if we was looking at the roster, like, you know, every teacher does in the beginning of the year, like, oh, I'm messing that. Like, yeah, y'all look at you, oh, I'm messing that all the way up. Miss Morris.
Right.
I'm hitting you right with the last step. Miss Morris.
It happens all the time.
Yeah, we're like, ooh.
I messed my name up.
Oh, okay.
Listen, I couldn't understand why my mother named me that, but you know,
it's a blessing.
I guess
they always gonna remember you. They're not gonna talk about it like with Tasha. Oh, Tasha with your show. You gotta have attributes with other ones.
Chinnita. That's why Earthquake gave me the name Chocolate, because people would be like, aren't you that chocolate girl? Aren't you that Hershey's Kiss girl? And so Earthquake, he and I used to be really close, and so we was hanging out one day, and some people walked up and was like, aren't you that Hershey's Kiss girl? And he was like, why don't you just call, because it happened a lot.
Yeah.
And he was like, why don't you just call yourself Chocolate?
Yeah.
And that was 2 weeks before I taped Def Comedy Jam, and so
yeah, that was
it stuck.
Awesome, because
it worked. Yeah,
it just worked, and it stuck and awesome. Now my question we didn't talk about, because I gotta know. How were you in the military? Like, I can't even see that. I can't even imagine that. I'm looking at you right now. Like, somebody said, hey, get over here and clean that. I couldn't even imagine a man forming his lips to say that to you. Like, I want the mess hall spick and span in 10 minutes. Like,
well, the Marine Corps is different. For one.
So you all the way crazy.
Marine.
Oh God.
See, that's the big misconception about Marines.
Tell the truth, please.
Everyone
ain't crazy.
They was two inbreds of short of a loaf. I'm telling you for a fact. So like, that was impressive, because I was thinking you was more or less like Army. I didn't realize. I knew you was something
Air Force. I actually was going to go to the Air Force.
Yeah, Army or Air Force.
But when I went to the recruiting office, the recruiter for the Air Force was taking his time. He was on the phone and just left me standing there. And the Marine recruiter came out of his office to say, hey, if you plan on going into the service, why don't you just go with the best? And I signed up for the Marine Corps. Now, the Marine Corps is different. Women don't have male drill instructors in the Marine Corps. Marine Corps, the women train completely different from the men. You don't train with the men.
Why is that?
And I was like, y'all trying to set us up. What's going on with this? So it was really weird. But the Marine Corps is hardcore. You don't get to watch TV. You don't get to listen to no music. You don't get to do nothing for 13 weeks. I think it's 16 weeks now. For the women. At the time, it was 16 weeks for the men. It was 13 weeks for the women, but I think they pushed it up further. So you didn't get to hear none of that until it was time to graduate. So the Marine Corps, but it was one of the best experiences of my life. And it brought me great discipline, and it toughened me up. I was a little softy and very very reserved, very quiet. I had a silly side that only people who knew me very closely would see. I had a lot of childhood trauma, so this is why I was that way. And the Marine Corps helped me to be tougher.
Okay.
One of the best decisions I ever made.
Awesome. Now my next one goes into, your daughter. How is she doing? And I saw a little picture of your grandchild. You want to like to speak on that? Because, anytime I talk about families, I gotta say like, what is that? Like, let me know that I crossed the line. I don't know.
No, I told you I'm an open book. Whatever questions you had. My babies are my babies. My daughter is 25 now. She'll be 26
You putting her business out there like that?
In September. I'm 55. One thing I don't do, and I have a joke about this, I don't lie about my age. I think every day is a brand new mercy.
Oh, you look 42 now. Don't worry about it now. You're right here. You're in the cougar range now. I'm gonna put it out there.
42 is good.
Yeah,
but
absolutely.
Maybe 52. But
nah, you look 42. Anyway. I see you now.
But yeah, my daughter, she's grown. She's out. Well, they're both gone right now, but my babies, I love them. And my grandson, I think that God blesses you with grandchildren. I put it like this: grandchildren is God's way of restoring your joy when life has gotten overwhelming. You guys don't have grandchildren, huh?
I like that.
I'm not of age.
When it happens, when it happens, you guys gonna be like,
yeah, but grandma's changed. My mom changed. I'm like, you're not the same mom. you the soft mom. Like grandma,
right?
They get a little soft now. You know what I mean? Let me do changes.
That.
Nah. We can't explain it. You have to experience it for yourself. Okay. You really do. It's like trying to tell somebody, what it feels like giving birth. But
I don't want to know that at all.
Yeah, I mean, for me it was very painful. I know you didn't want to know, but the joy of it after the fact. Yeah. I wanted a lot of children. I was only blessed to get my daughter, but
Listen, I know my wife loves me so much because, Miss Chocolate, if I took this hat off, I got a 5 head. My head, like, I'm serious. Like, I had a big head all the time. Lollipop, you can't tell me a head joke from me that I haven't heard. So my head is humongous, right? So when my wife agreed to marry me and we was like, we gonna have kids, and we said kids, I was like, oh no, she here for the long haul. Like, ain't no goddamn way you would look at this up there. Girls was like, when you get in college and a little older, I'm like, yeah, I got my stuff together. They still making a business decision. Like, look, that shit like that can't happen. Like, it's a little too delicate to have something like that coming through there. Like,
right.
This ain't nothing to play with. Like, this ain't nothing to play with right here.
For a C-section.
Like this ain't natural what you got.
Right.
So I'm sitting there like, she really gotta, love me, for me. But saying that you want a lot of children, because I wanted a lot, but then when I start getting older, understanding, well, you got to pay for them shit.
Right. Well, more than one, so that's.
Yeah, I got 3. Listen, I wanted as many as I could afford. So at one point, was up to 5, and now I'm really down to 2, but I got 3. So I'm like, I'm still trying to work my shit out. I'm trying to get up there again, like, one of them I'm looking like, look, you don't got to eat every day. That's just a luxury. You know what I mean? But on the same token, I still look at that, and I look at I got 3 girls, and I don't know if, like, I never thought I was that much of a dog. So why did I get 3 girls? Like, why? So I just knew.
You did.
Like right now, no. I know God is looking at me like, yeah, keep on asking. And because I had something to say, and that's why, like, now my prayers are more specific. Like, like, Lord, bless me with hitting the Mega Millions on next Thursday. Like, I don't put it, and I put specificities on my stuff, because I said, at one point when I was younger, I said, Lord, let all the ladies love me. He gave me 3 daughters and a wife, and I said, okay, now you.
Wow, that's what you did.
You playing now, right? This is what you're doing, huh? So I was like, yeah, let all the ladies love me. All right, cool. 3 daughters and a wife.
These ladies love you. Yeah.
I was like, oh. Okay,
Yeah.
all right, listen.
Yeah, you,
So
you
now,
gotta be specific.
yeah. So next Tuesday, let me hit the Mega Millions. Let me hit that right. Let me give me all the right numbers in sequence, order, all that. Like, get real specific. 'Cause, listen, I know what's going on, but I also know he looking down at it because sometimes like I don't think he's seeing what I'm doing. Just like I look back at the little lady with the
He see
chocolate.
everything, brother.
I'm thinking nobody saw that. Look back and the ones in them, they looking, daughters looking like like this, and then I fall down some steps. I'm like, okay. I'm under supervision.
So you
at
ain't
all
playing
times.
with it no more. You know how this works.
I know. You know what I mean? Yeah. So I'm like, I got no room to make anything. But so far, Miss Chocolate, it's been great. It's been phenomenal. Jay to the Nay, do you have any questions? Because I just want to talk a little bit about the family, and you got to the military family, but is anything else that you would like to ask or anything before we wrap it up?
I did. This just for any upcoming comedian, female comedian who want to get in the game. Like, what do they need to do? Sometimes they don't believe in themselves. Just some advice or something that you can give up to the up and coming comedians or that's going in your that want to do Christian comedy or even in the church. So just kind of give them some advice of which way they should go.
Well, first of all, if you don't believe in yourself, then you're already defeated. And that's in anything. One thing that, because like I told you, I was a very timid person. I had to force myself on stage when I wanted to do comedy. And that was even after a few years of doing comedy. So imagine my very first night. But at the same time, once I got a feel for doing comedy, I had to do it. And I was determined and was nothing going to keep me from doing comedy. I had just graduated college. Right. So long story short, one thing about it is your determination will take you where you're trying to go. If you're not determined to get there, you're not going to get there. You can't be playing around with it. Either you want it or you don't. And truthfully, that's in anything. But because there's so much competition out here, you're gonna have to bring your A game, and it's different today than it was when we came up. When we came up, praise God, it was just an influx of Black comedy that happened at that time, and we were at the right place at the right time. And we had when I first started doing comedy, you had one Black comedy club. And so now, we're opening back up and get on any stage you can get on to do comedy. If that's what you want to do, even if you're a singer or any opportunity that you're given, don't worry about being paid because most people don't get paid up front. And sometimes it takes years before you can get paid. But if it's something that you really want to do, first of all, believe in yourself, be determined, go hard for it, eat, sleep, and breathe it, do your research, do what you got to do. Don't be stealing people's jokes because don't nobody like working with people who are not original. Right. And you're going to get shut down real quick. Because people don't like to work with people if they feel like they're going to leave a little lighter. If I know that when you leave me, you taking this joke with you. So have integrity, and like I said, if you're determined, you'll get there. Doors are open for you, but you're gonna have to sow some seeds. You're gonna have to do a lot of stuff for free for a minute. So.
Yeah. Well, I appreciate that. Oh, you want to take us out?
Yep. So I'm thankful that I was able to talk to the wonderful, the incomparable, the awesome Miss Chocolate. The first like honestly, I'm just keeping 100. When the producer Big Liam, he was like, "Yo, we got her," and I was sitting like, I ain't gonna believe it till I see it. I'm just being honest with you. I was like, nah. He's like,
and then it didn't happen the first time.
Yeah, the first time I was like,
he was like,
yeah. I was like, yeah, all right, cool. I wasn't. Because I was like, because I still get starstruck. I play like, oh, sure.
Oh, wow.
Right.
I know, I was nervous too, actually.
I was sitting there like, oh, she right there. All right, snap out. That's why the first time y'all see me looking, I was like,
oh, my goodness.
Oh, she right there, fam. Yo, fam, snap out of it. All right, good.
Yeah, I don't know. I can't comprehend that because that's just not how I see myself.
Oh no, definitely, and it's awesome. And now that you in the Tar Heel State, you here, you know what I mean. So, I know like there's going to be abundance of opportunities coming for yourself, and I know it's coming. So
thank you for speaking life.
Absolutely.
You
so
guys have been you guys have been so much fun, wonderful interviewers. Not too often when we do interviews are they fun and delightful.
Oh yeah, and we try to keep it there, like make sure that we do enough research, but also, like I said,
and you know what? That's good because a lot of times people don't know what questions they want to ask, and you're like the first one who really read the book and knew what you wanted to ask and stuff. So you guys that's pretty cool.
Awesome, but
appreciate
now
it.
make sure we promote the book.
Can I? Yes. Make sure you promote your book and then tell us where we can find you on social media.
Well, you can find me on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. I'm still chocolate.
I'm already your friend, so that's cool. Yeah, I'm still chocolate. Okay.
I'm still chocolate.
Oh my God, I like that. I think I might steal that for me. I'm still, look, I'm still kind of chocolate. Look at that. Look. Don't listen. If you see that, that's me. That's it. I'm sorry. No. I try to. Don't do that. That scarred me when I was young. I called myself chocolate, and people was like, "You ain't chocolate. You brown skinned." I was like, "Man, nah." I'm brown skinned. Yeah, you know how to do it. Put that ED on it.
Dark skinned people be like, especially when people lighter than us be like, "Yeah, I'm chocolate." Be like, you know what? I'm about to smack you. Good and well, if somebody that called you chocolate when you was younger, you'd have been ready to fight.
You'd have been mad.
Not me.
All right,
I'm married to chocolate woman.
Chocolate. Please get the book. You guys can please follow us too on YouTube, on Instagram, on Twitter, on Facebook at KROSS BARZ. It's KROSS BARZ. KROSS BARZ. Make sure you get the book Gracefully Broken, Wonderfully Restored by Miss Chinnita Morris. I think somebody.
And it's available on Amazon. See, you even actually went and bought the book.
I did. I bought the book off of Amazon. I'm gonna mail it to you so I can get an autograph. Can I send my book to you? You can sign it for me.
I got you.
I'll send it to your PO box.
Yeah, don't do that. Yeah, no, she's not. She's lost. She's stalking. Yeah, she got stalker eyes. She got stalker eyes. Don't worry.
Again, we thank you so much. Please continue to follow, keep up with KROSS BARZ. Thank you so much for just giving us the time, to speak with us.
Guys.
We appreciate you. Much success for your future, and we out.
All right. Thank you, guys. I had a great time.